Nice. Yep. It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and I turned the punchy server on. Hopefully, I turned everything on. Here, let me see if I can set a redirect thing. Set the raid, the Hake report. Boom. I've set up a raid. So we'll see if people get redirected over to pilled.net/the Hake report. We shall see. What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday, May 20th, AD 2025. And I am back. I have to shout out, oh, I would like to anyway, shout out and thank very kindly Joel Friday, JLP, and Anchor Baby, and Derek, actually, for filling in on my work yesterday. Because yesterday, I was remiss. I was sick. Terrible. Can you believe it? Yes, you can believe it. As Maze has said, and it's true, the sickliest person she's ever known. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. So thank you guys. Shout out. And great work. I avow Joel Friday TV's coverage of old what's his name and old what's her name. Hold on 1 second. I'm a boomer. Looking for the remote to turn that thingy on. Oh, sweet. No big rush. Oh, nice. It's you know, I call him Sean Combs. Oops, you might have done it already. I just turned it off. And that Cassie Ventura. Any relation to Jesse Ventura? She looks like Zendaya to me. There's this gal named Zendaya, kind of a light-skinned, ambiguous race. Mildly attractive. Younger, though. And Cassie, at least in her young pics, looks similar to that to me. But anyway, in the trial, like American Anchor Baby, I have not paid much attention at all to the situation. I don't even really know what the charges are of Diddy. So did he do it? Did he do what? But anyway, and people seem to speculate and jump to conclusions and say stuff about Justin Bieber being a victim. And he even said, no, that's not true. And I don't know. I don't really care. But I avow, as opposed to disavow, Joel Friday's statement that that woman is not innocent. No innocent accuser. Am I right? I think so. Racketeering is one of the crimes. Says Jules. What's up, Jules? Over in the Rumble crew. It was so nice for JLP and Joel to fill in, but I miss Hake anyway. Thank you, Cactus Eater Bear. Yeah. So, please. And you know me, I scoff at victims anyway. And anytime that you see both the liberals and the conservatives, both the blacks and the whites, going after somebody, be it Bill Cosby or, in this case, the less upstanding citizen, because I think that he's less of an upstanding citizen than Bill Cosby was. Bill Cosby was, you know, he tried to present a good example and actually said some true things. Whereas this Sean Combs guy, you guys call him Diddy, I don't. This Sean Combs guy, he was like for rock the vote, right? Rock the vote. It doesn't even make any sense, but I think it's sort of a knockoff of rock the boat, which is be a disruptor and vote for communism, be a sucker, be black, not in a good way. So I don't side with him in terms of his dumb politics. But they go after all the good artists. They're even going after I stand with Smokey Robinson. Don't you? They're trying to go after Smokey. They're like doing a criminal investigation into Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson? That high-pitched black singer guy who's like so good? Please. So, I don't know. I care about that mess. I'm supposed to be getting ready when I'm doing this little small talk thing, but I can't. I can only do one thing at a time. You know what I mean? It's terrible. So here, let me get this thing going over here. But yeah, it's Smokey. They're going after our Smokey. Smokey is so good that even the whites claim him. I remember Asmodor used to play that one guy. Another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. I got some money 'cause I just got paid. Oh, how I wish I had some chick to talk to. I'm in an awful way. Here another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. Sam Cooke, who got shot in self-defense allegedly, because he got robbed allegedly by a immoral woman allegedly, whom he brought in. He knew she was an immoral woman when he let her in allegedly. You knew I was a snake when you let me in. Us so-called men, don't we always let in the snakes when we know better? It's not right. And I use the term men loosely, obviously. A real man would be wise as a serpent and innocent as a dove and clever when and when not to allow a snake in my boots, in the garden, in the motel room, or whatever. You know what I mean? You can call in 1-888-775-3773. I kind of missed you guys. I seem okay, right? Let's hope I don't. I shouldn't even talk like this, but let's hope I don't keel over like that woman. And I laugh, but it's terrible. On Fox News, remember that woman? I don't know if I feel like we saw it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show the other week. A woman keeled over, just fainted in the middle of talking. And that's not good. Or even worse, when that woman like cracked her skull, she fell backwards. She was bragging about getting the Schmaxx. I don't disclose whether I am vaxxed, okay? I do not disclose that. And I don't disclose what any connection that may have or not to any sickness or weakness, okay? So you speculators, keep on speculating if you want to do that. But all it is speculation, and speculation is useless in terms of Hake's health and Hake's vaxxed or unvaxxed status, okay? So hope I don't keel over. I don't think I will. But, you know, health is crazy. I do, and then I will get started, guys. You can call in, you can super chat, buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. But I am pulling for, whatever that means, Scott Adams. He said that he's a competitor of mine, okay? But I will say his name once or twice or more because that man, I appreciate him. He warned us about the blacks after many of us already knew, but it was good. It was a good reminder. And he loves the blacks. But he loves them enough to stay away because he's a sensible man. A little bit more sensible in his older age. Not that old, but he's 67 and he revealed that he has cancer and he expects to check out of this realm or whatever he said come around summertime. Wow. So it would be nice if he lasted longer, it seems like, you know. But whew, crazy. Health, you know. You never know. So shout out, a shout out, a salute, an appreciation for the great Scott Adams. I became aware. I mean, I always, you know, somewhat liked Dilbert, his comic strip. It was like, okay, it's kind of interested, you know. I appreciated the consistency of it. But I really came to appreciate him around September 2015 when I saw this thing where he predicted Trump was going to win. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Because he noticed Trump's linguistic kill shots and other brilliant things. And he predicted a golden age with Trump and that Trump would be reelected. And sure enough, all of that has come / is coming true. Of course, you know, stuff changes. And there's adjustments, but nice. Very nice. And is that gold? Oh, and there's my late watch. I'm going to get a new band for it. Mr. Mad, the real Mr. Mad, already replaced my band once for me. He sent me a new band. And now my band is broken again, my watch band. It's terrible. So, huh. So anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys! So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I have my amazing Tar Baby t-shirt on. Isn't it cute? Originally designed by Lock Your Door. After that black caller said, you need to go and get yourself bleached. And you sit something, and you sitting there looking like a tar baby to JLP. And it became an instant classic, meme-worthy black angry sayings. Shout out. Very entertaining. And Lock Your Door made a JLP, the amazing Tar Baby t-shirt. I mean, a design. We turned it into, I don't know if we turned it into a t-shirt at that point. And then Anchor Baby did a modified design for this t-shirt. Very nice. Shout out to Anchor Baby and to Lock Your Door. Very, very cool. And I believe that you can get yours by going to jesseleepeterson.shop. Whoa, interesting. Cool. Okay, so that means cheese in Spanish. Tar Baby. Let's find out if it's available. Indeed it is. The amazing Tar Baby 100% cotton version. 100% cotton tee, and that's what I have. I got the orange one, I think. Let's find out. Yeah, this is, I think that's the one. Coral might be the color. There's soft pink. There's other colors as well. Aqua, athletic heather. For some reason, it's not loading. But if you scroll, you'll see these different. That's probably the aqua one. There's gold. No, this is not gold. Gold is like a yellow. So jessieleepeterson.shop. It's different from hake.printify.me, okay? Very nice. And by the way, I mentioned pilled.net / the Hake Report. And you can check out pilled.net / the Hake Report. JLP and Hake are both on Pilled. What's up, Tyrant, Sorens, Wrecked? Is that how you do the umlaut thing? Nice. What's up? But let me get to some calls here before I get into some stories, perhaps. Mark in Los Angeles, California. There is one line open, guys. Mark in Los Angeles, California is on the line here. Mark, thank you for calling and holding. How you doing?
Hi. Oh, fine. How you doing? Hey, good to have you back.
Thanks.
I wanted to say first, before I get into what I called for, Robert's your best caller.
Yeah, I heard you mention that on, I don't know if that was Anchor Baby? Okay.
Anchor Baby.
Yeah.
He's next to me. Okay.
Nice.
Just kidding. No, but really, he's a good caller. I agreed with every word of him that he said yesterday.
I heard you mention that.
My call is about this is constructive criticism, so don't get mad. Just hear me out. When you attack Irish and Polish as not being white, that's a disgrace. They're part of the white family. And I would dare you to go to Ireland and tell those people they're not white. Ireland's under invasion, by the way. Poland isn't. Poland has kept their border strong and their nation white. And that dopey guy that you were laughing at the polls with, the retard from Baltimore, where's his bloodline go to, Uganda or Nigeria? And he's hitting on the polls?
You're not supposed to say retard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Thanks.
Okay, slow learner or whatever.
Yeah.
But you were laughing at the polls with him. I mean, come on, Hake.
Oh, but that's
white.
But okay, so inform me. I accept your criticism. I hear it, but explain to me where we got Polak jokes.
Oh, I mean, they've been around since I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
They're just jokes. I mean, they're just jokes.
You're right.
The point is, the Slavic people.
You're somewhat of an historian. Do you know where they came from?
The jokes?
Yeah, the Polak jokes.
No, I don't know where they came from. Out of ignorance, because the Poles are hardworking people.
Uh-huh.
They're smart enough to keep the Muslims out and the Negroes out because they know what that would entail. So you got to love the Poles. Now the Irish are under invasion. That was something I wanted to mention to you.
Now, let me interrupt you briefly. When you tell me, you dare me to say that the Irish are not normal white, my usual line. Is that kind of like when the blacks dare me to call the blacks the N-word? Like, would the Irish physically abuse me or assault me saying that?
Well, I don't think they would be anywhere near the savagery of what blacks would do to you. Not at all. I don't think they would hurt you.
Okay.
I think they would let you know. I mean, Irish are decent people.
Yeah.
They're not a problem race. They're an ethnic group.
Right.
But I think they would, explain to you that they are quite white. And there was just by the way, it just came to mind. I don't know. I believe it was in Ireland. They had a march over the weekend, and I can't say because there's a profanity, but who the F is Allah? Who the F is Allah? And they were screaming it, about 1,000 or 2 white men.
That's over
marching down the street.
In Ireland?
I don't know if it was Ireland or England.
Oh, okay.
It was in the United Kingdom, but I just don't know which exact country. But that's good, man. That's good news. And the other thing I wanted to throw out here, and I know it's your show and you're probably going to say no, which is fine, but I just got to throw this out. Would you be willing to give me a half hour of people calling in, white haters, Trump haters, and let me take them on for 30 minutes, just 30 minutes of Trump haters, Mark haters, and white haters, and let them throw at me whatever they think they can and see how it goes. We saw how it went with Ronnie, who I like. I like Ronnie because he wasn't arrogant.
Right.
The clown
Well,
from Phoenix was arrogant.
interesting.
But Ronnie's not. That's why I respect Ronnie. No respect for the white hater in Phoenix.
Okay.
But I know Ronnie, at least you could talk to him.
I have heard your request, and I shall place it in the suggestion box for consideration. Thank you for the request. Thanks,
Yeah,
Mark.
see how the audience feels about it. I'm sure you're going to have your haters and the people who don't want it to happen.
Shout out to the haters.
Pardon?
I said shout out to the haters.
Well, unless they hate us as white. But no,
I
I'm
shout
willing
them
to
out
take that
anyway.
one.
You know, have you noticed that Trump shouts out and wishes a happy Easter even to the haters and losers and enemies of America?
Sure, and he actually wished Joe Biden he gave his sympathy to Biden,
Right.
and Biden tried to throw him in jail and financially break him, and he still was nice enough to say that to him.
That is an
Trump's a good
example.
man.
That is an example of real Christian love, because Trump is, for the most part, not a pushover. You can have your okay places where he's a softy, a pushover, but overall he still fights them, but he expresses love and well wishes to them.
You know, I don't understand. I don't mean to change the subject. I
Okay.
love Trump.
Yeah.
But this business on deportations of these Venezuelans, first I heard the court voted no, and then yesterday I saw a headline, Supreme Court gives the okay for Venezuelan deportations.
You know,
what's going on?
I think
Are
that's.
they- are we-
I think what it is multiple lawsuits. And I haven't kept close track of all these lawsuits and things that are going up to the Supreme Court. But if I'm not mistaken, my impression is, this is a total guess, Mark. One is him invoking the Wartime Powers, Alien Enemies Act, maybe. It might be they struck that down, but then they said he could remove the temporary protected status specifically of the Venezuelans. So it's very limited in they didn't do the right thing for the big picture, but they did the right thing in the little picture.
Well,
So
no, but
it's-
here's the thing.
yeah.
If they take away their temporary status, doesn't that make them illegal and eligible for deportation?
Right, but the Venezuelans are not the only illegals.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I just saw a headline this morning that Rick Grinnell.
Oh, you know
met
what?
with-
You know what? I think the Supreme Court even made up, and I could be mistaken on this, but I thought that I heard that either a prediction that they will or that they did, John Roberts, make it so that these people have the right to face a judge or a court, a trial.
That's amnesty.
Yeah, I know.
Basically,
That's evil.
amnesty.
Yep.
Well, Roberts and Barrett have foreign-born children, so they should recuse themselves.
Yeah.
But they're not good people, so they
Right,
won't.
of course.
And
Yep.
they know that if they have to give hearings to every one of these snakes, it's going to take 100 years to get 20 million of these evil invaders out of here. That's the game plan. Oh, and one other thing.
I didn't know that
saw
John Roberts had a foreign-born, 2 adopted children, Josephine and John, called Josie and Jack. Wow.
From where?
The
I mean, where were
adoption,
they born?
according to Google AI, which is not necessarily reliable, they are. It's not widely publicized, but it's supposedly known the adoption process involved international adoption from Latin
Yeah.
America.
Scumbag. He's
Yeah.
a scumbag.
Yeah, John
And
Roberts
so
is
is
a
Barrett.
softy, lame-o, ridiculous.
It's not even. It's worse
A
than
rhino.
that.
Yeah.
He's actively derailing the MAGA agenda. He's Bush appointee. He's just like George Bush. The second.
W?
When
Yeah.
you look at Roberts, even sounds like him.
Wow. What a
Yeah,
shame.
so-
He gave
Yeah,
us
well, we don't-
he gave us so-called same-sex marriage. He gave us Obamacare. He gave
Yeah.
us all kinds of
Well, Rush
cover your ears, kids,
Limbaugh-
but crap.
Sure, Rush Limbaugh theorized the reason Roberts didn't overturn Obamacare, he didn't want to be looked at in history as a Supreme Court Chief Justice who overturned the first Negro president's,
Signature.
prize
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So that's Roberts, a guilt-ridden piece of garbage white man.
I'm
We
with
don't
you,
need
man.
people like him. Did you get and I'll let you go. I just want to say this. I don't know exactly who said it, but yesterday, I know who it was. It was a Venezuelan person.
Can
who's in America.
I interrupt you to say
Sure.
John Roberts His father had Irish ancestry.
That's too bad.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing. It's irrelevant. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter. They got traitors in Ireland, too.
I know,
You
everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, well, not in Poland. Poland doesn't have any of those creatures over there. And it's the same with Hungary. There are a few standouts, but not very many. I got to say this. I want to get this out. There's a village in Ireland that only had 200 people, 200 Irishmen, and they flooded them with about 250 Syrian Muslims.
Wow.
So already, and that was a white-only city, township, whatever, village for thousands of years.
Wow.
And they just invaded. They're invaded, just like Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah.
But except it's in Ireland, and the Irish are waking up.
Yeah.
The other thing,
and there are many small towns all across America that have been transformed in that way. We heard about Springfield, Ohio, but there are many others that we have not heard about. But if you were to look at like Refugee Resettlement Watch, the old archives from Ann Corcoran and others, it's been happening across America for decades, or at least for many years.
Well, especially since Biden exuberated it.
Oh, yeah. Exacerbated
in those 4 years. Yeah, that's it. The other thing is, and I'll finish after this, there was a young man, he's a college student. He's from Venezuela, but they're not all dogs down there. This guy was an intelligent, he had white blood in him, and he meant well. He said that in Venezuela, the way the commies took over was through the judiciary, through the court system, because the people wouldn't vote in these commies. And that's really what's going on in this country.
It is.
The judiciary that's becoming communist and forcing communism on us.
Yep.
And it's not, although the Democrats who are still in office are promoting this evil, it's the judiciary who are overruling the voters.
Yeah.
And that's what they do in Russia. Under the old Soviet Union, they were called commissars. Judges were basically commissars.
I'm with you, man. I didn't know that they were called commissars.
Commissars. They were like unelected bureaucrats who acted as judges.
Yeah.
And they did whatever the Communist Party wanted them to do. Now, Amy Coney Barrett, she might as well just be a Democrat. The only good vote she did was on the Dobbs decision. That's it.
Right.
Everything else has been on the left. So anyway, hey, think about that 30-minute debate with, the general public, and God bless you. Thanks. Good to have you back. And I'll be looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Appreciate it, Mark. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye. And speaking of, let me get to Robert in Kansas on the line over here. Robert, what's up, man?
Hey, hey, man, you look so handsome, even though you're sick. I appreciate it.
My best friend's mother used to say that I would lose weight anytime I was sick, and I would look taller. So right on.
You wouldn't be so fat. Yeah, that's good, eh? You wouldn't be such a fat shorty.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know. I forget. I talked to Derek.
Flat Earth.
I was really giving Derek problems.
Shout out to Derek.
Shout out to Derek.
Our JLP's,
he's a black man.
Yeah, JLP's black producer from Memphis, by the way, if I can.
Yeah, he's a black guy. He's a young black man, and he treats me very kindly as a white man. He's very
He's like AI. You know how AI is endlessly polite, I think.
Well, no, he's a good example. If we don't want the blacks and whites to fight, right? Like, he's a good example.
For sure, man.
He's very kind to me.
He's unmovable. He's like a tree planted by the waters.
Yeah, and he'll never have to worry about me, being hostile to him. So
nice.
I appreciate Derek, and so yeah, gosh, man. Okay, so what were you just talking about, Hake? You were talking about with the last caller.
I was talking about John Roberts being partly Irish. And
John Roberts, the pedophile?
Whoa. Hey, don't say that word. And don't just lob nasty accusations, especially that accusation.
Well, no, he's a Jewish-controlled pedophile. Like
I just
like
told you
most
not
of the
to
government.
lob nasty accusations, and you just made it worse. The heck?
Okay, hey. All right, well, I'll shut up. Hey,
You're so
I'll shut up. I'm
rebellious.
sorry. No, I just
I disavow.
That's why the country's so messed up, bro. Is they got all these people corrupted.
Whoa.
You know, like they got them on film, dude. Epstein, Diddy,
but
whatever.
you don't know this.
Like, well, I
But
know.
anyway,
know.
what? Okay, so nice. Well, thank you for your call, man.
Well, thank you for my call. I called in for Flat Earth.
Well, you should have gotten to Flat Earth instead of calling our Chief Justice, who is part Irish, a PDF. That's ridiculous.
So give me 90 more seconds, Hake. So the Flat Earth, right? Like, why are we so into this thing? It's that you can actually go outside to your land or your water or whatever you have. If you have water, that's the best as far as I'm concerned, is that you have a body of water that you can observate and calculate the curve that would occur such that the NASA model is correct. And for my flat earthers, it's that I cannot get these men and women like a smart guy like Hake, a really smart, handsome, young man, that I cannot get him to just go out and look at where he lives. And that's what would eventually lead him to understand that it's not a YouTube video. It's not a ancient discretionary sort of fallacy that the earth might be flat and doesn't move. It is that once you observe the place you live in, once you actually look with your own eyes, you will see that the earth is absolutely flat. It does not move. The sun, the moon, the stars above, in the firmament of God's creation, move around us. And it is the zodiac. It's why it doesn't change. If we were spinning through space at a random position, the zodiac would change. But we're coming up on Pisces or whatever, we're in Pisces, whatever. It is what the sky clock tells us it is. It is God. And if you don't see that the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars are the firmament creation of God, then you are of Satan. That's just what it is.
I thought that being of God versus of Satan was not a matter of intellectual knowledge, but of spiritual rebirth. You've equated the flat earth to salvation itself.
Intellectual knowledge will lead you to high school and college, and I went to both of those, right? I have
no,
a
but you're
degree.
no. You're deviating. You're talking about knowing, quote unquote, that the earth is not a ball but a flat stationary thing, or whatever you said. And if you don't know that, then you're of Satan. That doesn't make sense. That's not even in the Bible.
Do you believe Satan is real, Hake?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He is real. Okay, so he is real. He is real.
Whoa. Satan is not Israel.
Okay. So do you understand that there is actually a God and a Satan, and these fallen angels control this
Your time
world?
is up. Sorry.
They offered Jesus
no, I'm not sorry.
all the kingdoms, right?
Right.
If they didn't have it, they couldn't offer it.
So then why are you trying to take the kingdom and call it flat earth?
I just want people to look at the place they live in, and once they do that, once you actually look at where you live, don't trust.
That's what's driving you crazy, is you want people to look. You want people to do something.
I do. I want
That's not
men
right.
and women all around the flat earth to look at where they live.
I encourage you, man. Well, I don't know.
I'm incorrigible.
I encourage you. Are you incorrigible?
I'm incorrigible. I might be.
Oh,
I'm very,
incorrigible. INCORRIGIBLE, or however you spell it. Incorrigible or incorrigible? Incorrigible.
Incorrigible, and also
I don't know
things.
which one that is. But anyway, as JLP said today, you don't want to help people? Don't want to help people. But I guess that's what you want to do.
I want to help. I want to help Cesar and Zazin and
huge
everybody
mistake.
in chat. What?
Huge mistake.
No, I do. Like, listen.
I know you do, and that's bad for you.
No, Zazin. No, listen, Zazin.
I gotta go.
Man.
It's nice talking with you. Thank you, Robert.
At the same time,
Take care.
I love
Take
the
care.
guy.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Me
Okay.
too.
All right.
All right.
Bye, Hake.
Bye. Yeah, I love the chat as well. If I love anybody, the snake pit itself. Did you hear they're bringing back Sesame Street? They're propping up Sesame Street. I don't even understand this news, by the way. I read this in Commie Nonsense Network, CNN. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? My liberal mother, Christian, right? Christian, liberal, communist, brainwashed mother, shout out, brainwashed me by plopping me down in front of Sesame Street in the mornings sometimes. And I preferred Sesame Street, more exciting, to Mr. Rogers, by the way. Mr. Rogers probably a commie, too. They say he had sleeve tattoos and was a Marine. I think that might be fake urban legend. The long-standing children's program is moving out of the Max district, whatever that is, and into the Netflix neighborhood, right? Netflix is going to start showing them. Trump recently signed an EO, executive order, directing the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and viewers like you to end federal funding for PBS, Public Broadcasting Service or whatever, and NPR, National Public Radio, degenerate, just off the deep end liberal. Oof. Phony. Kids without access to streaming services will still be able to see evil, lame-o, soft, childish, overly precious Elmo and Cookie Monster and Oscar the Grouch for free on PBS. So did Trump so they're available on both Netflix and PBS, I guess. Evil Sesame Street. Started by a woman, a communist woman, or a liberal anyway. I use the term communist more loosely than others, but I think that it's fairly accurate. And Sesame Street has gotten worse and worse and worse. Even when I was a kid. You know, I sometimes sing Sesame Street. The songs stick in my head. People say that, oh, Hake has Arrested Development. Please. You don't know me. But I'll sing Keep On Truckin'. Ooh, it's the garbage man's blues. That is a, pardon me while I close this ad. That is a evil, fake, environmentalist recycling propaganda. Did you know that recycling was something even when I was a kid? I feel like I remember when we started, no, I definitely remember, because I was like halfway grown, when we started getting these recycling bins from like the city or something. So you would have like three, I guess, different bins for recycling stuff, right? Cans, plastic, and glass, I think. And that was liberal. So that was that was a change, because it used to be just trash, all trash. And so they started recycling. But even before that, I feel like I remember this Keep on Truckin' song. And I could probably pull it up on YouTube, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. And so that was a Sesame Street song. And I remember telling you guys, too, about this owl, this cartoon little skit during Sesame Street of an owl talking with another bird. And the owl sleeps during the day and is awake at night. And the little bird, like a child, says, and children are honest, says, that's weird. You're awake during the night and sleep during the day. That's weird. And the owl, being all politically correct, says, it's not weird. It's just different. So promoting the fake diversity thing and shaming the child for being honest about something that the child rightly finds to be weird. Not necessarily full-blown shaming, but implied that, oh, you start preaching at the child who calls something weird. No, it's not weird. It's just different. We're diverse. Diversity propaganda without using the term. So look at how bright, primary colored, and girly the colors are now. It's even more childish than before. It used to be nice neutral colors on the set of Sesame Street. Now it's like obviously fake. It used to be partly real setting, but now it's fake, so obvious. Oh no, that's a float. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, whatever. So evil Netflix. In Netflix, I will remind you, the CEO and his wife, at least at the time, in 2020-ish, donated to the Black Lives Matter endorsed, Soros-funded George Gascon, who destroyed Los Angeles County or city? County, I think. He's the whatever, district attorney. Well, you know, these Soros prosecutors who don't prosecute actual crime. What a mess. Yeah, and so Sesame Street, I used to totally like them, think they're harmless. Now I see through the lies. Phony, communist, Sesame Street. Sick of them. So, what a mess. Anyway, I want to get back to the calls here. Rah. Jeff in Louisiana is on the line over here. Jeff, thanks for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, man, I just had a comment. I was going to call in for, but I had to do. When that Robert Duke calls in, that's creepy as hell.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm with you, man.
And being also a little creepy where you smile and laugh at it.
Okay, I understand. I accept.
I
I've been.
I was saying that, man, but that's just like, dude, he got to find something better to do with his time.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair criticism all around, man.
Okay, man, that's all I had to do.
It's good to hear from you, Jeff. Thanks as
That's
always.
cool, man.
All right, you too. Bye. Shout out. And shout out to the creeps and the creepy. But we got to, as the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. Nice. Jaden in Texas, Tejas, on the line over here. Jaden, are you there?
Hey, it's Hayden from Texas State.
Oh, Hayden. Okay, sorry, man. Thanks. Blame,
you're good.
blame Derek.
Blame Derek?
Yeah.
You said he's from Memphis?
Yeah, I did actually.
Memphrica?
Yeah. He's polite and chill, but he knows hell on the outside. You know,
Right.
You know, the hell that is Memphis. He knows how to, and that's probably partly why he's so chill with everything, takes everything in stride, because he's he's a Christian. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Memphrica. I call
literally,
it Memphrica.
like it's by Memphrica, it's kind of like Africa, Memphis, because it's so black and so crime ridden, so you don't know what's going to happen, can go crazy at any point. And yeah, he lived in that world to a certain extent, but he was
you can't
not.
Forget about,
Yeah, go ahead.
you can't forget about Chicago.
True.
So isn't Memphis like the #1 dangerous city in the United States?
It's up there. It's definitely in the top. It's up there. It's way up there. Is Memphis among?
I would definitely say it's top 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried calling you.
It is considered, according to the
Go
New
ahead.
York Post, 2024, October 12th, the U.S. Memphis is considered the most dangerous U.S. city to live in, not only in terms of crime, but also when considering other risks like accidents, financial safety, natural disasters. According to studies, it's among the most dangerous cities in the United States, even according to Google AI, high violent crime rate, and yep, crazy.
Good gosh, that's crazy.
Shout out.
Yeah. Never
yeah,
forget
don't
Memphrica or
try
Chicago.
Derek. He seems like a polite, young, smooth-faced man, but don't push him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's I've never met him before, but I'm sure he's an exception. But I mean,
Right.
but the majority of Memphis is just like absolute trash. So I mean,
Yeah, I think that's
least
where
he came out alive.
a black female police chief, she got her gun stolen out of the front seat of her car
shocker.
when she was in the liquor store or something. Crazy. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
what a
it's a
mess.
bad place.
Oh yeah.
I tried calling in Friday. I think you were on with Crucian, so I don't want to interrupt y'all's conversation. But
Yeah.
Mark just brought it up. I saw him in what's that guy's name from? I've debated him before. Ronnie. I saw him in Ronnie's debate, and he absolutely crushed Ronnie. So I just want to give a shout out to Mark.
Yeah.
That was incredible. I don't know if you remember this or not. One of the last times him and I debated, me and Ronnie, he did the same thing. He just name called like he did to Mark, and he brought up this half-given stats, the fake crime stats or whatever. So I can definitely understand y'all's irritation with him and, spreading misinformation as usual.
Yeah. I don't really, other than trying to distract and downplay and present himself as like the exception and many other blacks as like the exceptions or whatever. I don't know. It's like other than identifying with your race, I don't get
Right.
why you would bring that up.
Exactly. Because I mean,
but bring up
go ahead.
and when I say that, I'm referring to Ronnie and many others. My snake former co-host. We use the term co-host as jokingly. Bring
Right.
up the fact that supposedly 98% or plus, less than 2%, supposedly commit violent crimes.
Yeah, right.
In the black community, and I don't know if that's even a real number. I get that you can add up the number of homicides and the percentage of homicides of those committed by blacks. That's an undercount on both counts because blacks get away with murder more. If you look at the black cities, their murder clearance rates are low, and the homicides are not all reported, and on and on and on and on and on, and those are not the only violent crimes. And so it's a big, and everybody knows that for the most part, you run into a black, for the most part, you're not going to get killed. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. So he's saying something that everybody knows, and its effect is the appearance is to downplay the huge national emergency problem of black violent and crime and black anger and aggression and the false identity of the blackness. And they're falling right into it. They're falling right into being a typical black, even when they're making these irrelevant statements.
I know he wanted to make the statement and say he's not like the rest of them. He said he was neutral when it came to this topic, but I mean, he said on your air before that Obama was the greatest president in U.S. history. So I mean, he's just like the rest of them. He wants to camouflage himself and wants to come across as reasonable or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's just like the rest of them. There's no hiding it. I mean, when you say
and it's
something
funny
like
because
that,
every intellectual, which he is, every intellectual has their reasons that they can explain away.
Yeah.
As it's just based on the facts. I don't identify with the race. I think you're onto him. I think he's onto you, Ronnie. Hayden is.
Well, I mean, I could say
Shout
much
out.
more. I don't want to bore anyone, but I could say much more about that. But it's not worth it. But the reason I wanted to call in was you and Mark were just talking about the cases or whatever. So I believe a week ago, the Supreme Court was they're in the process of ruling on the birthright citizenship thing.
Right.
And I read, I wanted to look into it more. The article that I read said they're going to make the final ruling late June, early July. So we're going to have to unfortunately wait a while for that one. The one that they did rule on recently was the Alien Enemies Act. And that was a loss for the MAGA movement.
Yeah, it was a loss for America, honestly. It's not even real. It's not even it's not a right decision at all. It's ridiculous. Sorry.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's a bad. So is he able to appeal that? Do you know?
I think that he's able to ignore it, and the Supreme Court can't do anything about that. It's up to Congress. It's up to Congress to impeach him if they think that he's wrong for flouting a bad and unjust decision by the so-called Supreme Court, because the Congress has the power to impeach the president, and all the Supreme Court can do is talk.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I personally, I believe he should ignore the courts. If you're asking me, do you
I
have the same belief?
agree with you, but I don't know the whole situation, and I wouldn't hold it against Trump if he didn't necessarily, but I would definitely cheer it on if he did. But he's unpredictable, and
right.
And he's not always wrong for holding back, A lot of times people want him to be much more aggressive than it's easy to kind of criticize, not that you're doing this, but it's easy for a lot of people to criticize from the stands. But he's the man in the arena.
And he has the attitude that you encourage. He has a wait and see attitude.
Indeed. Yeah.
Because I mean, you just said it. I'll take that. That I do encourage him and the MAGA movement and everyone to be more aggressive. But I mean, again, you do have to have a wait and see attitude when it comes to politics. But this is the left's defense, though. They lost the presidency, they lost the House, they lost the Senate, but this is their way of halting our agenda that 77 million people voted for.
Yeah.
And this is their way of showing their dominance or power or whatever. But I mean, Trump has every right to ignore the courts because that's what we all voted for.
Yeah.
We all voted for mass deportation.
And you know what? It's only the law. It's the law. All he's doing is enforcing one of the most basic of laws is immigration law.
Correct.
It's basic. It's the most fundamental. That's like the purpose, the one valid purpose of the government is to enforce our borders and our laws on the people who don't belong here. Duh.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
And so they're just nitpicking, and Mark is right about these commissars or whatever you want to call them, these so-called judges who are
he's 100% correct.
Undermining and just enforcing the left's agenda against the will of the people, which has happened over and over in California and everywhere. California, California voted against so-called same-sex marriage. We voted for marriage to be between a man and a woman.
What was this?
2008, the year that we elected Obama, supposedly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it was never enforced. And you do know that in the 90s, that was called Prop 8. The California voters voted in Prop 8. Marriage is not same-sex marriage. It's not marriage. And did you know that we voted in Prop 187 in the 90s, I think it was? No welfare, no social services for illegal aliens in California.
California, wow.
Yep. And that was ignored, never enforced, I think. And it was overturned. And so over and over, even recently, the will of the California people has been flouted by the government and the courts, by the left. Crazy, huh? Nice little informative, lightweight history lesson for you. So California's not as far gone as they would have you believe. It's just intimidation, brainwashing, mass immigration, and court shenanigans. Crazy, huh?
Well, you also got to you got to also include the major cities that are doing the corruption, like Los Angeles, San Diego.
True.
I want to see Sacramento too.
Yeah, Sacramento is probably worse even than San Diego. I feel like San Diego might be the best out of the three, for some reason.
Probably so.
Yeah.
But it's all crazy. I wanted to bring up two quick things.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to mention the name. It's your competitor. They were saying that I told you that the last time I called in that 11 million demons are in our country, that it shouldn't be here. Your competitor, who's credible, he said that that there are at least 20 million in the country. Do you believe that stat?
I could believe that it's 30. I heard from Ann Coulter that Ann Coulter, a researcher gal, she was saying in 2015, I think, when she wrote this book that Trump read, JLP interviewed her, called Adios America, that she thought it was like 30 million illegals, because they were saying 11. She was saying it's more like 30 million.
I don't question that at all.
Yeah, I could definitely believe it. So I don't know what the number is. I know that there are some that leave, some that stay, some that are supposedly born here and supposedly not illegal. I don't know.
The only solution is Trump ignoring the courts. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, they would go full steam.
They don't need they don't need a hearing. They didn't come in with a hearing. They didn't come in illegally with a hearing. They can get out without a hearing. We confirm they're illegal. Right. Yeah. Not one citizen has been deported that wasn't rightly deported. They call these children citizens, right? There was a baby who had cancer. Yeah. CNN or somebody told me with like this push notification. Oh, 2 young children, American citizens, including one with cancer, were deported by Trump. Good. Yeah. They're illegals. Cool. They're anger babies.
Well, listen. They see that a child with cancer. I don't believe that. They said that the Shiloh Hendricks thing. They said, oh, why would you say that to a black kid with autism? It's just a sympathy thing.
Yeah.
They seem like a monster. So I mean, I don't believe.
Yeah, that's an appeal to women's emotions.
It's fake news. Yep. It's all fake news.
Shout out.
But last thing, the very last thing, and this is amazing news. Our girl, you and I's girl, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm sure you know who that is.
Yeah, I do.
She and a lot of right wing politicians are calling for what's his name, Derek Chauvin, to be released. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Isn't that awesome?
MTG, Marjorie Greene herself, who's divorcing her husband divorcing her. That's kind of old news, but just side note. She should be at home, but she's for the right thing. She's for the right thing, for pardoning Derek Chauvin. I heard that. That's nice. It's encouraging. I appreciate her. She stood up for the January 6ers. And she's standing up for Derek Chauvin, the persecuted white cop.
That's based. That was really based of her to say.
Yeah.
And it was encouraging, because I'm a little bit skeptical when it comes to some MAGAs or whatever. But
yeah.
It seems like people are coming to her support, that he should be released. And I hope he is. I really hope he is released soon.
It would be nice. I don't know. I don't have high hopes, but it's encouraging to see even Ben Shapiro saying that he should be pardoned. You know, it's
Right.
only fair. It's only right.
Yeah.
So, right on, man.
He shouldn't have been in prison in the first place.
Yeah,
so,
he
I
shouldn't.
mean,
It was ridiculous. It was a railroading, quite obviously,
yeah, for you know what reasons.
because he's white. And
That's always our conclusion.
Got to overturn the white authority. It's communism, man.
Yeah.
It's black. Shout
Get
out.
him out. Get these non-whites out.
They don't really care about us.
Michael Jackson, my man.
You know,
the greatest white singer of all time.
Black Lives Matter used that, I heard, in what was it? In Black Lives Matter in 2014. Or 2020.
Right,
care about us.
It was in
I looked it
2020.
up.
I remember.
It was which one? 2020?
Yes.
Okay. That's funny. Let's find out. I'm going to click over into Wikipedia. Let's find out. Black Lives Matter. Okay, yeah. Sure enough. It was used I saw it right up here in the first section. Black Lives Matter protests. Oh, not just 2020, man. In 2014 and 2015. That was with the Ferguson insurrection under Obama. And countrywide.
God.
So, and again in 2020.
You know, they're so out of it. They think that relates to them, but he was actually talking about J supremacy.
He was talking about everything, I think. I think it wasn't just Jews. I think it was about everything. I could be. Well, I mean, you may be right. I'm undercutting your point a little bit.
Right.
But to me, you might be right, but I don't think that you're totally right because, let's see. It had to do, okay, so these publications, they highlighted the lyrics, J me, sue me, everybody do me, kick me, kabloop, Ike me, don't you black or white me. And so that was just one line, okay? So it's one line talking about, when you say J-U me, Jew me, that means like you're short shrifting me, cheating me, right?
Yes.
And then sue me, that's a very typical thing. A lot of Jewish people sue or whatever. A lot of times people sue frivolously. Everybody do me, kick me, kableep me. When you say Ike K me, that word, when you say that word, Ike me, I'm saying Ike without the K. When you say Ike me, what does that mean? That sounds like call me that.
Well,
so it sounds like he's like, don't you black or white me. It's I think that it has to do with just all kinds of, because he said it was about young people being hate. He says, listen to this, listen to his defense. And you know, people when they're defending themselves or apologizing or whatever, they could be dishonest, but he says, I am the skinhead. I am the Jew. I am the black man. I am the white man. I am not the one who is attacking. It's about highlighting the injustices to young people and how the system can wrongfully accuse them. So he's defending...
Who's the system?
Whoa, well, I disavowed that question. But you might be right, but I don't think you're fully right. I think it's just talking in general about kind of like victimhood, defiance, rebellious young people, falsely maligned by the older people. Because he says that he is the skinhead. He is the Jew. He is the black man, the white man. So he's identifying with the angry, rebellious, sort of adolescent rage. And that sounds kind of more like him than just strictly Jew blaming. It probably includes the Jews too. Shout out. But it's also including Jews as victims as well as perps, and everybody else as victims as well as perps.
Well, you know, he was treated so badly up until when he died.
Yeah.
And because you were in Los Angeles, didn't you see the trial? Did you watch the trial live?
No, I didn't pay attention to it at the time. I was a kid, or or in college or whatever, when they're trying to blame him for child stuff or something.
Yeah, that was the biggest trial in U.S. history.
Really?
That's what it wasn't Guinness. Somebody said that it was the biggest globally watched trial in history. Because I mean he was the second.
I thought that was OJ.
No, believe it or not, it was Michael.
Wow.
He holds a Guinness Book of World Record for being the second most well-known person in the world history. Jesus is first.
Whoa. Wait, he's the second most what? Recognized?
Recognized person in world history.
Wow.
Next to Jesus Christ.
He's even bigger than Andy Lau.
Yeah.
Or Jackie Cheung. That's funny, man.
He's incredible. And he had two white children. He used Mark Lester. His name is Mark Lester. He was in some film in the 60s or 70s. And Mark Lester was the godfather of his children. He used his DNA, quote unquote, to have his children. So he had two white children and I believe one Indian child.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. I didn't really. I remember him holding that child over the balcony.
The balcony.
Yeah. And he's just, sort of a weird misfit.
Right. Yeah,
never really, just kind of a messed up young man. Or not that young.
Yeah, I mean, his dad did him wrong.
I don't know if it was full blown his dad. His dad may or may not have done some wrong. Yeah, of course, dads do wrong. But I think that is a popular myth.
Conclusion.
Yeah, because they're ignoring. It's just like how mothers turn the children against the fathers. The father is why they had their worldly success. Whether that's a good thing, you can question, right?
Right.
But the mother got all this praise, and she's not why they're successful. The father's why they're successful, because he cracked the whip on them and made them successful. So
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So and he may have done it in like an overly harsh way. I don't know. I'm just a beta from the outside. I can't judge.
But there's no
shout out
secret.
to Joe Jackson. Rest in peace. Go ahead.
But there's no secret. He wanted he turned himself into a white man. He had white children. There's no as much as he wanted to deny it in life. There's no hiding it. Actions over words. Hey.
That's funny, man. Shout out to the late Michael Jackson. And then after he died, all the blacks wanted to embrace him and claim him because he couldn't do any more damage to them.
Yeah.
They're like, oh.
They wanted to remember him for his off the wall and Thriller days.
Yeah, they wanted to claim him all of a sudden because when a star dies, that's when they really become popular.
Yeah, they start to love him when they die. Did you know that him and Trump are best friends?
No, I didn't know that.
Michael and his former wife Lisa Marie Presley, they both lived in Trump Tower in the 90s. And Trump, you can look up videos online. Trump and Michael were best friends. They would go to his casinos together. Trump invited him to Mar-a-Lago and stuff. I mean, they were like close friends.
Why? Oh, okay. I'm wondering why it's not popping up but I'm not on the Michael Jackson Wikipedia. I'm on the They Don't Care About Us Wikipedia. I was searching for Presley, Lisa Marie Presley, and was she the daughter of or is she the daughter of Elvis?
She passed away though. 2 years ago.
Okay.
She was great. I liked her a lot.
Married 1994, divorced in 1996. Lisa Marie Presley.
But if you type in Trump and Jackson, they got tons of pictures of them on, together and stuff.
Oops,
so I mean that's pretty cool connection.
Nice. Yeah, you know what? I get, Michael Jackson also liked that other guy, Home Alone guy.
What's his name?
Macaulay Culkin.
I know who you talked about. Yes, Macaulay Culkin, yeah.
And Trump kind of, I feel like Trump and Macaulay had sort of a, I don't know, New York connection or I don't know what. But anyway,
Right.
and nice. Anyway, interesting call. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Very fun.
Yes, have a good day. Hey,
You too. Take care.
see you. Bye.
Wow. Whew. Pardon me, I got carried away with this Michael Jackson "They Don't Care About Us" song. Because, you know, I sing that, they don't really care about us. Because they don't, these phonies. Nobody does. You don't even care about other people, nor they you. I was thinking about, I said this on Punchy TV. I think the premiere yesterday, we had a Punchy TV premiere. There's this guy, very popular, maybe not with you necessarily, but popular in general, conservative, relatively speaking, young man, activist, organizer, podcaster. He was talking with this liberal, atheist, Jewish old-timer, if you will. I use the term old-timer a little loosely in this case. Oh, no, he wasn't talking with... Well, he was, but this wasn't the instance. He was talking with some, like, schmornography star, so-called star. You know, these dirty video women and dirty picture women, gals. Shout out. And she was reformed, right? She's a Christian now. And I chuckle, but nice. Right on. Whatever. If it's real. And even if it's not real, shout out. He asked her, or she asked him, or they were talking about, or he said, what is harmful about the schmornography, porn, right? Gross. And he said it's exploiting, it's dehumanizing. Exploiting and dehumanizing, kind sir, are liberal words. Man, be a man, don't be a male feminist. Playing like these dirty video women are mere victims of dehumanization. They're also dehumanizing the males of whom they take advantage. It's mutual destruction, mutual taking advantage of, mutual feeding of the ego and killing your life. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? It's probably worse for the men, honestly. I don't know. Terrible, huh? Giving them money to destroy yourself. And I'm sure that, I feel like he would acknowledge that I'm right about that. You know what I mean? Do not honor Taylor Swift. I don't know why I read that. It's amusing. Shout out. But, and honestly, this is the point. This is the reason that I'm bringing it up. You know, this whole, they don't really care about us. Even in a marriage, many times, most times, maybe all times, I don't know, late round here nowadays. The husband and wife, they don't really care about each other. Only because they're smart do they act like they care about each other. Because in a practical sense, it behooves you to act like you care about each other. In a practical sense. You know, not be full-blown mask off, totally selfish, outwardly. It behooves you to play like you're not selfish in life. Even if you are really underneath it all. Because you are really underneath it all. And so, I'm not talking about the schmornography anymore. I'm talking about regular marriage. I'm talking about regular marriage. I'm talking about, you know very well that when you've been in, let's look at let you look at your failed relationships or your whatever, your friendships where it's gone sour, because that's where it's more obvious. You being mad about it, that just reveals your selfishness. Doesn't that reveal your selfishness in this situation? You being mad at another person for being selfish. You're being selfish. Somebody brought up my shirt in the chat. I'm standing up a little bit. So they don't really care about us? Or they don't care about us? 1996, by the way. I was like a freshman in high school. Toward the end of the school year that came out. I didn't know that. Shout out. Michael Jackson. Still busy, even in the borderline late 90s. They don't really care about us because that's human nature. It's not just like they're these corrupt people, the elite leaders at the top or the Jews or whatever. Shout out. It's, you're criticizing them for something that you are. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? I know what I mean, tennis shoe. I do. Anyway. William in California on the line. I believe this is probably William the Third. What's up, man?
Yeah, it's your boy. What's happening, man?
Hey, not much. How about you?
I'm all right.
Nice.
You feel better?
Yep, I do. Thank you.
What was it, your beta back again?
No, actually, my beta back was flaring up this morning. It was actually like, I don't know whether I was gonna throw up or faint or what. It was weird. I was feeling queasy. I don't faint though.
I know.
Girls faint. Men pass out. Men pass out.
Right.
Women faint.
So, did you get what do you think it got something to do with the jab?
Oh, I don't disclose whether I've been jabbed or not. And so I won't respond to that question. But, you know, all weekend, at different points, I was feeling a little queasy. And so might just be fighting something.
Yeah. You know what, man? Not even getting on your case about it, man. I think it is really bad that they did that to everybody.
Yeah.
In the working class, you know, that's not my age group, as you know, but that's really bad that they did that to everybody. Man.
Yeah, and you know what? Shame on them for falling for it to a point.
I know.
But shame on them for pushing it. They both did wrong.
Yep. They did wrong. They messed up a lot of things with that pandemic and that whole thing that Chase and all of your callers were talking about, and Mark and all of them. It is really bad, man, what they did this last couple of years. And then
by couple, you mean like past 4 years, or 5 years under Biden?
4 to 8. Yeah,
yeah.
You got to throw Obama in there. You got to throw him in there because I think he was probably
10.
I think he was probably
years.
running the White House.
Yeah, I know. He's basically. I mean, maybe not him specifically, because I don't know how smart he actually is or not. I don't know.
Right.
But his administration were like the same as the Biden administration in many cases.
Identical.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's not like Biden was actually in charge. He had these lame-o handlers.
Oh my God, yes.
I think.
Yeah.
It was what it looked like to me anyway.
All those women and gays and queers and
shout out
blacks, and you know, he just thought he was the second calling of JFK. He just really thought he was doing something by giving everybody what they want. But you know, we're paying for that now. And we got to cut down on the spending. And what do you think about this big beautiful bill? It's going to be probably going to go through pretty soon here.
You mean Congress is actually going to do something to help Trump?
Yeah, right. But they're really trying hard to get everything passed. And I wanted to know what you thought about Judge Jeanine Pirro. Somebody said she wasn't going to get confirmed, but she's confirmed.
Is she?
She is she's
not
a bit of power.
So is she not just the interim
I don't know. Can
DC
you look that
or
up?
New York or something like that?
That's a pretty. I looked at that job. There, if you look at the list that particular person, power that person has, and it will surprise you the list that comes with that job.
Yeah.
So maybe she can shake things up and straighten some things out there. If you look at the list and see what her job is, and maybe she can tackle some of these things and see what we can get done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something just slipped in my mind. I wanted to ask. Oh yeah, what do you think about this? Because I think this may be in the bill, or if you haven't done it already, is that I think Trump is going to take the housing. Was that the Section 8 and kick it back to the states? What do you think about that?
Oh, I had heard something like that. You know,
that will save a lot of money.
Justin from Fullerton said that he heard that Section 8 was getting defunded and that he hoped that we take care of our old folks who actually deserve it, Americans. And that would be kind of nice if it's right, you know? But somebody pointed out that he's not taking it away completely. He's just defunding it on the federal level and giving it to the states to handle, which I think is a good idea.
They don't like to tell the truth to their constituents.
Yeah.
He is not messing around with anybody that's up in age.
Okay.
Housing. He's not messing with veterans housing. He's not messing with those two particular groups, medical. He's not doing any of that.
Yeah.
What he's doing is taking the Section 8 and knocking it down to 2 years, and that goes for the welfare too, from 2 years from 20 to 2.
Huh.
Because I mean, it shouldn't be something that you make a living off of.
Yeah. Right. Of course.
And then you know, they didn't get it done, but you know, they wanted to throw us into like this socialist bubble and take our housing that we rent and try to put that under Section 8. And as you know, definitely I voted no for that. It's like, you know, you're not going to tell me what to do with my own property. And I'm sure a lot of other property members out there would probably feel the same way. They rent to who they want to rent to.
Yeah, true.
It shouldn't have that. I don't need a city government to regulate that.
That's right.
And
I know. I don't really trust these states to do the right thing, or cities, but at least we're taking the power away from the federal government, or Trump is, which is a good thing.
Yeah. And so, and he's taking medical and housing and food stamps and all that stuff from the illegals.
Good.
So that's going to save us a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, people are not thinking about what he's slashing is for the better. The tariffs have worked. Everybody's caving in. And it's basically designed to bring the employment back over to America for the younger people to go back to work.
Yeah.
To go back. And when I mean go back to work, I don't mean remote working. Actually going back to work.
Nice. Right on.
Generation needs that. Don't you think so?
Of course. Definitely. Hugely. Badly. What? That's one of the things that when we deport these illegals, we got to get rid of all of this enablement of people not to work, so that we have more labor force participation.
Who's really correct? Who's really getting hit? Who's really on that list are able-bodied people who can work. That means your age and younger.
Right. Yep.
Well, they should be working.
Totally, man. Honestly, even retirees should be doing something with their life for their own sake, you know? You know, I heard some sob story, which is sad. Yeah. It sounds rough. On my way in, I was driving in, listening to the radio news, and it had one example of some old, maybe black lady, not sure, you know, maybe in her 80s or so. I don't know what age. But she was inadvertently, and maybe thousands have been, supposedly, put on the dead list. They were considered to be dead by the Social Security Administration, and now, like, suddenly her benefits and different things, Social Security and other, like, insurance stuff has been canceled on her, And so
Yeah.
she's having to like prove that she's alive, and it's a big mess.
Yeah, that's a mess, man.
And I don't
That's
know
a
if that's
mess.
from Elon Musk's, the Doge thing. Like some people were called dead who actually weren't dead. And I'm sure that that could happen, of course. We're trying to correct the situation for all these
Yes.
dead people
You know,
giving money to other people who are not dead. But
I'm
some
glad
people
you
who
said
are
something
dead are
about-
getting caught up in it, or whoever people who are alive are getting caught up in these mistakes. That's partly why you don't want the government doing it in the first place, I say.
Well, you know what, James? In 2020? I don't know if I think I did tell you about this situation because, like you said, Sacramento might be more corrupt than any of the cities. Yes, San Diego was probably the best one. My father was stationed down there. We lived on the base in Oceanside. That is a beautiful area, San Diego. It might be the best out of the big three in California. But they, what I was trying to say is, you need to take the stuff away from the government because it's not being handled right. And these states and these universities are getting their funds taken from them because of the behavior. And which brings also something up that I wanted to ask you about. What do you think about them indicting the Congresswoman that was in the red, roughing it up with the ICE agents over there at the detention center? What do you think about that?
I'm always glad when a criminal is prosecuted, especially if it's a criminal black woman in the government who's acting like she shouldn't, like she's above the law.
She was showboating.
Yeah.
She was showboating.
I don't even really know what she did, but I caught wind that she was helping to riot. And so
she was showboating.
Get her out of there.
Showboating.
Yeah, charge
she
her.
was showboating. She's getting what she deserves. She was showboating out there, and so was the mayor.
Yeah,
So was the mayor because he never visited the facility as long as it was in his existence, and they actually can go in, but if they make arrangements ahead of time, say, look here, we got some Congress people coming through. Can you open the gates? I don't think they would have a problem with that at all. It's the thing that they created. He called getting himself arrested to get some attention because I think he's got a campaign too. They're trying to take a play out of Trump's book.
Exactly.
Go ahead and arrest me, and thinking that it's going to make them more popular. They're trying to just try what he did. And
it reminds me of I don't think Newark has had a good mayor in decades.
In a long time.
Because they had that other showboating, light-skinned black Cory Booker as mayor for in 2005 to 2012, if I recall correctly.
She was mayor out there?
It's a he.
Oh, you mean him?
Yeah, Cory Booker, the wild-eyed, I am Spartacus or whatever the psycho guy is, who's in Congress now, being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Never trusted him. He's full of it.
Yeah.
When we can get people to think individually, they'll probably, hopefully, get out of this type of group thinking.
For
like
sure, man.
Black Lives Matter, all of that stuff. The Hebrew Israelites were sitting on a hill last week shouting at some white folks, and they didn't even leave. It's a bunch of stuff that doesn't really make any sense. The Black Panther movement, which, as you know, got threatened 5 years ago by the real Black Panther Party in Oakland and told them guys that you are messing with infringement laws. That is the Black Panther Party of the 1960s. We're not going to let you take our name. So they had to recently change their name to the Black Panther movement out there. Yeah,
William, I gotta run. I gotta hurry off because I have super chats to get to and everybody.
Because of time.
But thank you, man.
Yeah.
It's great hearing from you.
Take care, man. I'm glad you feel better.
Thanks again. Take care.
All right.
Bye. Before I get back to the calls, I have super chats to read. And there's plenty here over on buymeacoffee.com, as well as Streamlabs, where Lin Yan Shin stated, Did you calm down enough to explain to Joel, breathing through the nose, that human birth rate, he means white birth rate, terrible, I disavow, is lower, human birth rate, he says, is lower than POC, person of color, birth rate and that he should stop begging for more of us, black POC, because he's POC, Lin Yin-chin, to consume the domain of white people, the domain of white people being America, for example. Equality is real, but only in death. All else is inequality, also known as life. Help him! Double exclamation mark. Lin Yin-chin is begging Hake, calm down enough to explain to Joel Friday, who wants just as much consideration to POC would-be refugees as has been given, allegedly, to the white South African Afrikaner under a genocide, if you believe in that word. According to the real definition, they are really facing a genocide, in a genocide, under a genocide, in evil South Africa, which reminds me of something, Lin Yin-chin. Did you ever explain to that one moron, don't say that word, kids, from the narrative spinner ethnic group? What? How the label, the unchristian, I think, people he's talking about, how the label was describing his kin and not him, who is a shame in the department of narration. The crush on the Don, oh, he thinks Krishan the Don is Jewish. And other miscellaneous guy's character, he is so stupid, says Lin Yin-chin. The label was describing his kin and not him, who is a shame in the department of narration. Yeah, Krishan does not have the high verbal IQ of his fellow Jew, Lin Yin-chin. Krishan is not Jewish, I don't think. He's Chinese, Indian, Irish, Jamaican, and another type of white, I forget, and something and something and something. But he's a Christian. He's above that now. Oh, by the way, speaking about Krishan, I got a super chat from Maria saying, the Dawn is, I find the Dawn highly intelligent. Maria says, I find the Dawn highly intelligent. And she would know. Lin Yin-chin continues with a third super chat I've read too. Robert, everything you observe is a reflection of your depth. You see flat Earth because your bias of the Earth is flat, not the Earth itself being flat / depthless. Note, observate is not a real word, but a moron term JLP was tricked to believe in. Says Lin Yin-chin. I know, it should just be observe. It bothers me too, if I'm honest, Lin Yin-chin. I should correct him on that and tell him, observe. You know, these blacks, they like to make up words in order to rhyme. You don't want to meditate, you want to observate. How about just observe? Thank you, Lin Yin-chin. It's one time I'm with you against JLP. Other than that, I'm going to kick you to the curb and stand with JLP on apologizing for hating, admitting you're wrong for hating. Not asking, apologizing is not asking for forgiveness, Lin Yin-chin. I know that it's going to probably spark another flurry of super chats, and I welcome them. But shout out. There's a ton of coffees over here. Cesar, I may or may not have read this one from Cesar. It's been a while, right? I wasn't here Monday to read the supers. Baltimore and Detroit were both thriving cities built up by the whites, taken over by blacks around 50s and 60s. Oh, I did read this, yeah. And, yeah, constantly declining to this day. Jackson says, Hake, I sent you a video on x.com/The Hake Report. It should be your most recent message. Would love for you to play it on your show. It does not contain any curse words or slurs. Thank you, Jackson. I shall check that out. Ronnie from Ohio, 3 coffees. Not all, but most black people, A, have never committed a crime, and B, so he claims, right? I don't know if that's accurate. And B, I think most of us have committed crimes. I think most of us have committed full-blown felonies of the heart. Murder in the heart, right? And I think that most blacks might actually have committed a crime according to the law. And, you know, I'm not talking about these things that they just call crimes. You know, because there's just things that find the person and then make up a crime, but they're not necessarily making up a crime because there's a whole bunch of fake made-up crimes that you can pull from which you can pull. I'm talking about real actual crimes, and they just got away with it and didn't think much of it. Shout out to the blacks. At least misdemeanors. Anyway, and B, but we're talking about violent crime, right? And B, most blacks, not all, but most, have never committed murder. I'm with you on that, except for in the heart. Most blacks are murderous in the heart. And that's a fact, Jack. The math is below for those who dare to disagree. There are nearly 20,000 people. He says nearly. It's actually probably more than 20,000 people murdered each year in America. Sometimes it's been counted at 24,000, but I think it's probably even higher than that. 40 million black people in America, including babies and old folks. If all 20,000 of those murders were committed by black people, which they're not, it's a little bit more than 50%, they say. I don't know. At least of those that they know. Math shows that greater than 98% of black adults have never committed murder per year, man. Per year. You're saying 20,000 committed by black people in a year. 98% of black adults didn't commit murder all year, you mean. Okay? And some committed multiple murders, so that would make it even more black adults who didn't commit murder all year, of course. Obviously, black people aren't responsible for all murders in the U.S. Last week, someone, I can't remember who, gave you the math saying 14 to 16% of black people committed a crime. If that figure is true, that would mean 84 to 86% never have committed a crime in terms of, I think, felony. I forget what it is. Normally, my coffees are pithy, says Ronnie in Ohio, and normally I would call if it's something that's too dense for a coffee. However, this was the best way to provide you with this info and perspective without being interrupted by angry people who disagree. Dark black shrugging man emoji. With hair, by the way. It looks like he has hair. And dark black strong arm emoji. Thank you, Ronnie in Ohio. But make sure that you factor in the fact that 98% of black people from never committed a murder to didn't commit murder all year. Or at least not get caught. But shout out, Ron in Ohio. We were just talking about you, man. Angban Art bought a coffee. Stabs, a knife just lives in there. Thanks, man. You had a typo on your one from JLP. And so I'm glad you gave me a coffee to correct that typo so I knew what to say. Harmony bought 3 coffees. Hake, any advice on how I can be more sure of myself and not worry how others view me? As JLP advised at the beginning of his show today, and as Joel Friday, who is coming up, let me set the redirect, might advise as well, I think if you, how can I say this? Be quiet. In that worry of how others view you. I think you will be able to see yourself and be sensible in that way. That's my advice for today, Harmony? Nice question. I love it. Shout out. Harmony inviting Hake to be or to talk about spiritual stuff. Cool. Thank you, Harmony. Are you the one who was overreacting maybe, or I was being ridiculous? Both, maybe. Oh, during Punchy TV, when we were mocking and making fun of and criticizing the looks of that Tinder loser. Also, good news. Party emoji, party smiley emoji. Blowing that thing that goes, "Coo!" Out of the 1,710 times I've been stabbed this morning, none of them have been fatal. That's right, Harmony. That's how you know it's fake. And yet you react to it unawares. Cool. Fun, Harmony. Terry bought a coffee. I like this one. She's my fellow communist friend, right? Hey, Hake, waving hand emoji. Can you tell us who your favorite Sesame Street Muppet was growing up? Thanks. Thanks, hands emoji. Well, I was around before Elmo, okay? I will have you know, Elmo came along. I feel like I was a grown kid, young man, almost, right? And my little brother was growing up when Elmo came along, okay? But I did like Elmo at that point. I don't know if he was my favorite. When I was a kid, a little kid watching Sesame Street, this communist degenerate TV show brainwashing people to be quote unquote good people as communists judge liberals. I liked Grover. I liked Ernie. You know, John R. Lott Jr. is your best friend, Ronnie/Blacks. John R. Lott Jr., crimeresearch.org. Check him out, Ronnie in Ohio. A side note, nothing to do with Sesame Street. But I really like this Sesame Street question. I don't know if I have time for everything, but there was a song when my little brother was growing up. And I'll tip my hat. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. I loved Ernie. Ernie was funny. That's how he would laugh. Something like that. This is not Ernie, but it's a puppet, right? Was Jim Henson a Christian? It's not even a good impression, but hey. Grover, Ernie. I kind of liked Oscar the Grouch. Oh, Big Bird. He had a fun song. I am not, when my brother was a kid. A banana, I am not. I am not. The Count was kind of fun. There was a censored version of the Count song. So it makes it turn into like, it sounds dirtier. It's terrible. I disavow. You know, everybody loves Kermit the Frog. I liked the Muppets. Gonzo. Some of these others. Rizzo the Rat was fun in the Muppet Christmas Carol. But anyway, thank you, Terry. Fun question. Cesar, 3 coffees. Sup, Hake? Glad you're okay, man. I have some random points to express today. Lynn blocked me my one a while back and had the need to call him out, but realized the hell in him was interacting with the hell in me, laughing face with tears. I had to check myself. Indeed, that's the thing to do. When you have a conflict with another man or woman, check yourself. Thanks, Lynn, for helping me work on myself. Right on, Cesar. Hey, Mark, as long as you don't give in to your emotions, you'll be powerful and will crush your enemies. minorities don't really like gay jokes, but Robert from Kansas is an exception. And JLP called some other caller the B word on your show yesterday. Sorry, kids. Oh yeah, that was justified though, man. That caller was being he sounded just like a woman. And I'm clapping like a black. Shout out to that caller. Great call, because he was an obvious caricature of what we all are in that evil, liberal, lame-o, woman, effeminate, satanic, listening, stuck on a idea state. But I could forgive him, but he's wrong too. He didn't even try to look for me. He couldn't stop saying it. Come off it, man. Be a man. And shout out to that caller if you're listening, and even if you're not. Fun. Great supers. And, okay. So let me just double check the Rumble crew. What's up, guys? D Live crew. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't have YouTube supers at this time. Thanks again, Lin Yen Chin. I think I'm all caught up with the Cash App. What's up, Smart Poker over on Pilled, as well as Tyrant Soros, Wrecked, Punchy.tv/Hake. Very cool. The lines are full. I shall screenshot this, and hopefully I remember to give anybody I don't get to priority. All right? Priority. David in Tejas has been on hold forever. David, we only have a few minutes, but let's hear it.
How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks for calling and holding.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
Hey, Oscar, you're a grouch.
You remember that?
Hey, Oscar, say it again.
Hey, Oscar, you're a grouch.
You're a grouch. I don't know the line.
Yeah.
Is that Big Bird?
It was from Sesame Street.
Yeah. Snuffleupagus was kind of cool.
No, Snuffleupagus was awesome. There was a Dave Chappelle did a skit or whatever, a stand up where he talked about Sesame Street. If you ever get a chance to look it up, it's pretty funny.
Nice.
It's definitely a different take on Sesame Street. He's like, what kind of street is that?
Nice.
It's hilarious. I have a question for you. Did you coin the term, if I love anyone, I love the blank?
I suppose so, maybe, yeah. I mean, I definitely started saying it a lot. You know, it's a common saying, but yeah, you could say I coined it. I think I did.
I think you should get copyrights on it before it's taken up.
Yeah, you know what? Somebody wanted to make a T-shirt out of it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Real quick, can you look? Have you ever seen the diagram of the light spectrum?
I don't know.
Well, there's a diagram, and it's the spectrum of light.
Like going through a prism?
Light is no. If you Google or whatever you do, Grok, just pull up a diagram of the spectrum of light, or the light spectrum.
Okay, go ahead.
And visible light is like, it's the super small fraction. I mean, like, I think it'd be like one out of 1,000, you know, that you can see, that we can actually see light. And I think that our spiritual awareness is kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing. It's like we can only see this like really small fraction of ourselves and of the spiritual world itself. You know, we can see the manifestation of it in our lives, you know, in our own lives and in the lives of those around us. But it's just an analogy. I'm brushing up on my dictionary terms. What you and I discussed. What was it? An anecdote last week, and this week it's an analogy.
So stuff that we're blind to. I like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a cool. It's interesting phenomenon. Right on.
My oldest daughter is 24 years old, and she went to, as the Canadians say, she went to university over here in Texas, and she is like, I think she hates me, but it may just be like she said, that she's just very disappointed in me. She can't stand that I support Trump, and she is totally on the other end of the spectrum on where I stand. And I feel like when I talk to her, because we don't talk very much.
Yeah.
And whenever we do, she comes firing at me with all of this democratic liberal nonsense. She even said to me that she was afraid that if they keep passing the laws, if Trump stays in charge and they keep passing the laws that they're passing, that if she gets pulled over by the police, that they will be able to search her for her genitalia if they feel like it doesn't match up with what is on her driver's license.
What a mess.
I said, "Oh my God, what is wrong with what is now?"
That's scaremongering.
I mean, that to me is the epitome. That's the epitome of taking on your mother's spirit.
Yep. Indeed. She did she vote for the auto pen? You don't have to answer that.
I'm sure. She's
or really for cackling Kamala.
Far gone.
Well, that's typical of young people. You know, that is an all too common story for conservative parents, man. That's
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And
well,
that's just one of those things that you just gotta let go. That's the real way to show her love.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Right.
Interesting.
Well, I appreciate you taking the call. I'm glad you're feeling better. I was wondering, as I looked at you on camera yesterday on the JLP show, I thought maybe your parasites were going a little haywire.
They might have been. The parasites, the worms. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. I'm glad you're feeling better. You have a great day.
You as well.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye. And so, Justin in California, Wayne in Tejas, Texas, Ardeen in Colorado, Alex in California, and the rest of the callers, you shall, if I remember right, it's a big if. Remind the screener, you get priority. I got to get out of here. I have like a minute to go or so. Joel Friday coming in next. And shout out to him for guest hosting yesterday. He did a great job. So did JLP, of course. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. It's the Hake News Wrap from Adriana. Baixinha, Forte. Bye.
Don't take the bait. You know that they are fake. I rest my case, there's no debate. Listen to Hake. He tells it like it should. Them posers wish they could. They roaming around in the ground. Watch out, they lying now. Commie networks, evil snakes. That's why we listen to Hake. Hake, the Hake News.